Hi, we're Harold and Ramona Blyth from MacGregor, Manitoba, and we own and operate Rose Hill Cattle Company. We have a fairly large herd of cow-calves, and we do some backgrounding. Our cows generally stay out for the winter. We have very good natural trees and shelter belts that we use to protect our cattle. We feed them out. The cows definitely know where the protected areas are. Many times we'll head out there and it's very windy and we'll head out to the pasture, and the cows are, standing around the bush waiting for us to come, and they tell us where they want to be fed because they can feel the protection. So we'll take the feed out, feed the cows, and on a very windy day, you'd never know. It's a different world out there. They're happy, they're content, and happy to see us with the feed.
From experience from my parents, my father came from out in Saskatchewan where there was no trees for miles. So when he came here, he started planting trees, and he's planted, I don't know how many miles, must be 15 miles of trees, I guess. And we helped look after them, rode the planter and cultivate beside them, and it's maybe half a dozen years, and then it's pretty near zero maintenance to them. But they stop so much wind. We feed the cows beside the shelter belts when they get close to home, and it just saves manure handling. Like one year we spent over $20,000 moving manure, so there's a benefit to you every year. I don't know, when it stops, like you look at people's land to the east side, you see great big mounds of dirt. That's your best land that is moved and you're not using it. So you've got to look at that. And like to look after trees, I would think, I don't know, 3 or 4 years maybe, working beside them would keep them, and then you can pretty well forget, just leave your strip of grass half a dozen feet either side, that's good. So I can't think of what. The trees are getting more and more thinking of the fossil fuels and the carbon, so like your trees take the carbonates to sequester it and stuff. We've got to look at that down the future. Maybe not a couple of generations, it's going to be a lot different. You've got to start thinking ahead of that.
One of the things for this year, when there is a shortage of feed and straw, we can take advantage of the shelter belts and the natural trees to protect our cattle from the environment, or from the weather. Because when they're protected from the trees, they don't need to consume as many groceries. So they're saving on the energy, and we're saving on feed. Other things that the trees have done definitely in our area is protecting the cropland. We also grow grain and oil seeds. And on a real windy day in the spring, and you see that wind and that land moving, anywhere that there are trees, people have taken the time to put in the shelter belts. Their land is not moving. It has saved us a crop many years. We have a tendency to be in a dry area, more so drought than ever a flood. So we have saved our crops by having trees protecting them. One thing I'd like to encourage all young people is to think back of what our forefathers have done. They've planted many trees, many shelter belts. They have had that personal experience of having dry years, wind erosion, stuff like that. I want to encourage the next generation not to take out trees and not to take out the shelter belts. They're there for a reason. They're there to protect our land, your land, and yes, the machinery is getting much larger, but it's not a big inconvenience to go around a shelter belt. So please do not take out existing shelter belts. So I just want to thank everyone and encourage you to, and invite you to come out to visit our farm, see our cattle in the wintertime when it's cold and stormy. We still go out, and the cattle are happy to see us, and it's a different world when you're out in the trees. Thank you.